Hi there, Dominic, the CX guy. Welcome back to the channel. Zendesk expert here, 8 years of experience, 2 years as Zendesk partner. I have been subcontracted by Zendesk to work on various projects, amongst which is today's topic. So a Zendesk setup from scratch. As you remember, we've started this discussion, a few videos back, where we are going through how to set up Zendesk from scratch and best practices, how to do everything from an admin's perspective, how the agent experience looks like for an agent, and the customer experience as well. So we try to enhance everybody's experience so everybody can be happy. These videos are free. I keep them open. So wherever you find this, you're going to find also a playlist, which is called Zendesk Setup. You can go ahead and find it in your YouTube, and you can watch this. I know that the videos are long. I'm with you on that. I know training videos can be boring. It is what it is. These videos and this job in itself is tedious and very, let's say, attentive to details. And yeah, so I apologize for the maybe non-interactive way of creating these videos and not editing the video. But yeah, real life has no video editing. And yeah, if I mispronounce something, I can just go back and pronounce it correctly, which would be very reflective of how a meeting, a one-on-one with me would look like. I'm giving you the best practices that you can use and which you can apply in your setup, so you can be ahead of 90% of companies that use Zendesk, and also not just use Zendesk, but to have great customer experiences for their customers, for their agents, and for their administrators. So in order to have an amazing customer experience for your customers, your agents have to have an amazing experience as well. So that's another topic in itself, but I'm just trying to give you the gist of how and what you need to do in order to have a successful customer service system. We've about the Zendesk setup now. We've covered first phase, which was the learn or discovery phase, where we learn about your business, why you do things the way you do them, how you do them. We looked over your business processes. We marked those one by one. We created process flows for them, which we translated then into Zendesk features. And now we are going into the deep dive of Zendesk, of the design phase, right? So we are, whatever we collected in the learn phase, the discovery phase, we are taking it and designing it in your Zendesk, right? So we're making this a melange of best practices, then how to do it in Zendesk, and then you do your homework to document everything that you're doing in your system. So the format is going to be very similar in this video as well. So yeah, I am going to share my video. I am going to show you where we are and the lesson that we're doing today. And yeah, so today we are in a design session, which we covered people setup, right? So how to set up your customers and your agents and your administrators and the best practices for that. Then we did ticketing, right? So everything about data collection in your ticketing. So what is important to, what is the essential information you need in order to support your customers, and have the best resolution for them. And now we've moved on to channels. Let me share my screen. Today we're talking about the most essential of the channels, which is email. So email setup, the channel which is the most important. So let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. So we are here. So yeah, quite the number of tick boxes. I like these tick boxes. So today we're going to start channels and we're going to do email. I'm going to, I'm going to mark it as done from now, because otherwise I forget. And yeah, so we focus on email, which is, let me remove the video screen sharing for now. So yeah, the email channel is a way for your customers to reach out to you, right? So you can offer support via via email. So you can go back and forth and have a conversation and help them solve their issue. Now, this is not the only time an email is the, let's say, the most useful, because yes, there's a difference in generation. And for example, the more younger generation is going to say, yeah, well, Dominic, fuck off, email is so ancient and only dinosaurs use it. Okay, fair enough, fair point. Obviously, there's a lot of channels out there that you can use in order to offer support. One of which, yeah, so for example, talk, right? So this is what an older generation would prefer, right? So pick up the phone, call customer service, and then shout at them, and then until they resolve your issue. And then there's obviously social messaging, and there's chat as well, right? Which, let's say, the more younger generation would prefer. But imagine that either of these channels, so you offer support until the point where you need to reach out to maybe a supervisor, or you need to escalate to a partner, you need to perform some more actions. How do you follow up on that request which came in via phone or social messaging, as social messaging? So everything is included in here, right? So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you want, WeChat even. So whatever you want, it is included in social messaging, and then yeah, via chat. So where do all of these fall back on? They fall all back on email, because we need to continue the conversation. If we don't have the answer for you then and there, then we need to follow up in an email and say, hey, we're following up on whatever issue you had, and here is the resolution. So yeah, it's going to still be email. So that's why having email is the prerequisite to having good customer experience. I don't really know how you can handle customer service without email. Obviously, this doesn't have to be like the main focus, but as I said, everything falls back onto email. So having it set up correctly and making it efficient is key. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through a slide deck presentation. It's not going to be that long as other lessons, because this one is, let's say, more straightforward, and it has a technical aspect to it. So see the slide deck, we go into Zendesk, we see, we look at some of the settings for emails. We will set up an email as well. Hopefully it's going to, be successful, because with email, there's always something you haven't done in the setup. I mean, any system administrator or email administrator will know. And then, there's also some homework for you to do, which, it's part of the game, right? So sharing my screen. All right, let's take this away. All right, so today, first slide, right? All right, so email channel design. So this is another design phase workshop. Today, we're going to have, the team, the team already. My girlfriend told me to change that photo because it's like a year and a half old, and I am older. All right, so the agenda for today, the duration is going to be an hour. Hopefully, maybe it's going to be a little bit less than an hour, but we'll see what comes out. And the objectives would be to, at the end, we should be able to identify the emails that need to be set up within your Zendesk, and how to set up those emails to capture requests, and then follow up on requests. And what we're going to discuss is define the email channel, define emails to be used, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to define emails, and then the email setup, and then email customization. Alrighty, so continuing our project plan, or project plan. We are here where we discuss workflows by channel, so email and chat. I am going to present email, chat. I don't have too much space in here, but I'm going to present social messaging as well, agent workspace as well, which is going to be very useful for you. And then moving on, so the session approach, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, deck, which is this deck, then we go into the system, and then you have your configuration workbook. Okay, so yeah, let's Zendesk it, and here we go. Alrighty, so email, good to know. So the design principles are as follows. So you might think about use emails to categorize requests. So I can't stress how important it is and how good and how the benefits, what the benefits are for the customer experience if you have this segregated with different emails for the different departments or the different functions that you have in your company. So you can have support at your company to offer, let's say, general support or anything that needs to be triaged and gets to, let's say, tier 1, and tier 1 handles it, and everything can stay within that support at yourcompany.com. Then continuing the discussion on my point to have different emails for different functions, you can have, for example, order at yourcompany.com or billing at yourcompany.com. And the reason I recommend this is because you can very easily have a separation for the incoming tickets, right? So you don't have to do any triaging in what regards, for example, what team needs to handle what, because very straightforward, right? Billing goes to the billing group, order goes to the order group, support goes to tier 1 and tier 2, and then you already have a basic routing in place which can get you started, right? You don't want to do everything perfect from the very beginning, but the more, let's say, pipes you have, the easier it is to create business rules around them, right? So imagine if you have everything into one email, which is support at your company, that's perfectly fine too. We can definitely work with that. That's not a problem. However, imagine that this separation, the segregation, we have to do it with different keywords to identify, for example, order requests, and then billing requests. We have to put in place like triggers and business rules, right? To pick up these tickets, like the support requests, which would fit into billing or would fit into order. So we have to keep in mind what it implies to have only one customer support address, email address. So this is definitely dependent on how you have your business set up. The ideal scenario is you have more than one emails to communicate for different functions in your company and business processes. And we can work with one as well, not a problem, just that it's a little bit more straightforward, or a little bit from a logic perspective, it's easier to create separations in this manner. And then, for example, you can enhance the customer experience by customizing the emails you use to reflect your company name. I don't encourage having support at company.zendesk.com. So whenever you open an account with Zendesk, you choose a name for your URL, right? So that you name for your URL, which is usually your company name. It's going to be support at whatever you choose in that, your company or your URL, your whatever you want, the variation of that. .zendesk.com. So this is what a out of the box Zendesk comes with, and from there you can customize it using email setup and email customization to essentially have it reflect whatever domain name you want, right? So it can just be support at yourcompany.com, help at yourcompany.com, billing at yourcompany.com. So you can remove the Zendesk bit from it. It's not necessarily the most straightforward process, and we'll go over that in a bit. Then another best practice for design principle would be to create granularity at the brand level when using emails for different request categories or departments. And by this, I mean, so if you're a company that uses multi-brand, so a company that has multiple brands, so you're a company that has more than one umbrella, right? So you operate in Germany with one name, in Austria with another name, in the UK with another name, in Spain with another name, and you have different brandings for each. So then, and you have different teams working, which would be required to use a login, a specific URL to log in, or your customers will log into a domain name which is specific to the brand that they belong to, right? So in that case, you can have, for example, granularity at the brand level. So right, you'd have support at brand1.com, then you'd have support at brand2.com, and if you want to have, for example, continue this this type of suggestion, which implies using, for example, different functions or different departments, you can have support at brand1, order at brand1, billing at brand1, support at brand2.com, support at order at brand2.com, billing at brand2.com, so on and so forth. And then, yeah, allow Zendesk to send emails on your behalf. So this is the more technical bit of setting the email, which is usually dedicated to someone who is a little bit more technical in your team, preferably somebody who's a system administrator or email administrator. I don't know exactly how you have that separated in your team. Nevertheless, someone who has technical knowledge. You have some setup, you have some articles in here on how to get started with email and forwarding for email, so you can perform this this action of customizing the email experience, right? So you remove the Zendesk bit, you then add your company name, and you essentially use the domain which is reflecting your company and nothing else, right? Because from a customer experience perspective, imagine they want to reach out to your company, right? So let's say Ted Baker, which is one of my clients, and they see support at tedbaker.zendesk.com. When they receive an email, it's like, what is this? Like, is this the right thing? Am I being hacked? Am I being phished? What is going on? So in order to improve the customer experience, you always have to have the right reflect the right domain in your email, right? Because it creates trust, and your customers will be more relaxed. All right, so next slide. Okay, so email naming conventions. So the naming conventions can be considered by brand and ticket category or department. So exactly what I mentioned in the previous slide. And these are some examples, right? So support at brand1.com, support at brand2.com, support at brand3.com. And I won't bore you with the rest, right? Because you can go as deep as you want. Some companies go, like, for example, they go up to 20 brands. So imagine 24 brands was the most that I've seen so far, which was for the body shop. Oh my God, amazing. And then another, right, for the function or for the department. So that the order department or the order funnel, you'd have order at brand1.com, order at brand2, etc., and then billing at brand1, billing at brand2. For companies offering support in multiple languages, you can go, right? So support at brand1.de, support at brand2.at. Wow. So what? Oh my God, I hate this mouse. Support at brand3.se, so on and so forth. So other naming conventions. So this is essentially what you do. So function at brandname.com, function at company.com, team at company.com, team at company.region, right? So this is what essentially you need to keep in mind when creating emails. And I have here a link sending you to your homework, which is that configuration workbook, which in here I have selected already the email sheet, right? So you go in here and you you add your emails, the ones that you need to use, and yeah, everyone's happy, and you keep everything orderly in one place. Now would come the time for you to tell me about how you use email, how you've used it in the past, and how you think about using this channel, best practices, and this is on back and forth. I am going to jump over that. So now there's some email settings and design principles for the email settings. So you have to think about customizing the email templates to reflect your company's branding. So imagine imagine you're a customer and you reach out to somebody, to one of the brands that you are using, and they get back to you with an email template, with an email which looks nothing like the company you want to reach out to, which is obviously the Zendesk default, which is the out of the box, comes with like a bland, neutral type of branding, which doesn't at all reflect your company. If anything, it reflects Zendesk. It reflects a bland version of Zendesk, but nonetheless a version of Zendesk. And you want to customize that. You can do that with the HTML, CSS. You can use a little bit of JavaScript as well, but not so much. HTML, CSS, that's your tool, and you can also use liquid markup. I will talk about that in a second. And actually, let me think about adding these here: HTML, CSS, and liquid markup. So what is liquid markup? Liquid markup is a programming language that has been developed by this e-commerce, by Shopify, and it works very well in Zendesk. So it's a programming language, just like Facebook invented their own React. I hope that's correct, and I'm not necessarily speaking bullshit here. Just like Google created their own programming language, like Go and others. So this one works very well with Zendesk, and where you use it is to have different email templates for each brand, right? So having your customer experience being enhanced by aligning with your company branding, with your style guide, with your colors, with your fonts, with your logo, with everything that makes your email look like your company and not like something else. So if you have multiple brands, right, so you activate in multiple countries and you have different branding for each one of your umbrella companies, then you want to customize the email templates to reflect each of the brands that you are offering support for. And that's where, for example, liquid markup comes in. Liquid markup lets you create like if, then, and else conditions. So for example, you customize your brand one template, and it's whatever that branding looks like with the style guide. You customize brand two with its style guide and its unique features, and then brand three again with its unique features. And then whenever, for example, somebody, an agent, for example, or whichever type of interaction with via email goes out or goes out to customers, depending on the brand that is selected in the email template, you can have this if, then, else condition. So if the brand is brand A, use this template. If the brand is brand B, then use this other template. Or if brand C is selected, then use brand C email template. So the style guide for each, right? So style guide for email template number three. So that's why liquid markup, this is what it is used for. And one of its greater uses, which I've done, for example, for a company which has 11 brands, and there's not much of a difference. Like the big mother company is German, It's a fintech. And then it has 11 brands activating in different countries. So each country has its own brand, right? So it's Germany brand 1, brand 2 is Austria, brand 3 is Switzerland, Spain, England, France, etc. So the difference is like in the footer, there's different contact details to the address which in which the company is represented, right? In the footer, you represent a different address. In each country, there's a different address, which like it has a post office and etc. So the only difference was this footer, right? So we needed to create an email template and have these if-then conditions with liquid markup, pick up the brand. So whenever a reply is going out to the customer, whichever, however it went out, either from an agent or it was a business rule, it would know what the brand is and would use the email template for that specific brand. All right, so this is a little bit more advanced and it requires a little bit of, tedious type of programming, but it's not necessarily all that difficult. So, I mean, there are tutorials, but nonetheless, it's a really, really good feature, and you have to keep this in mind. Then enable SPF, DKIM, and DMARC to avoid emails ending up in spam. So I can't stress enough how important it is to have these done. And I have some documentation for that for you in here, and as well as in the other slide on how to set up the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. And this it sometimes happens that email servers are reluctant to receive emails which don't have this validation of SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, and mark them as spam, especially, for example, for email templates that contain photographs, images. So in recent, it's not even recent, it's like 2012, this when this used to happen. So this is old news already, but you can put malware inside images, and it can potentially be disastrous for a company to have those malware be downloaded into their computer. So that's why email servers nowadays, the modern ones, like immediately when a photo is an image is attached to an email, it automatically is suspicious. So it filters it as potential spam. So in order to avoid that, make your emails, sign them, and allow Zendesk to send email on your behalf as if they were coming exactly from your company, which is potentially a trustworthy source. And it depends, of course, on where you have your emails set up, whether it's Gmail, whether it's Outlook, whether it's wherever you have those, or you have your own email server. That's totally up to you, but you have to do these settings. I will guide you how to do this with a Gmail account, but be warned, it's pretty simple to do, and it doesn't necessarily require a lot of setup. So it's but I will guide you through how to do it, and the principles apply to any type of email server. But obviously, wherever that lies, that's totally up to you and how you have your business set up. Accept wildcards so that you collect typo emails. So it's human, and sometimes when you enter an email address, you sometimes maybe put a typo and you have support without the R at yourcompany.com, or support at yourcompany.com, support without the double P at your company, etc. So any variation of your email address will be accepted in Zendesk, like, well, you're human. You made a mistake. You had a little bit too much of the schnapps, and so we'll just allow this to come into the system as if you had typed the correct email address. So that's what wildcards are, and that's why I recommend using it. Oh my God. Sorry. Enable rich content in email, obviously. So our 2021, almost 2022, rich content is the place, which allows images and emojis and etc., which is a great thing to have. Enable personalized email replies. I will go over into what that is, it will look like inside Zendesk. Okay, so now would be obviously where you give me some more information about what your current setup is. Again, this type of lesson implies a technical bit as well, and usually there is somebody technical from my team that can guide you through how to do this. But essentially, it's up to whoever is your email admin to do this. They would be the most appropriate people to do this because they know they've set up the emails and they can set up forwarding rules and they can set up the, oh my God, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC for you. So they take a lot less time if they read the documentation, which is like maybe half an hour, if you have a bad attention span, it takes an hour to read the documentation, but then takes you half an hour if you're a system administrator. Somebody else which is not unfamiliar with your email setup would obviously require a lot more time because they need to know what the heck is going on. Alrighty, so now we jump into Zendesk. Oh my God, I hate this mouse. We jump into Zendesk, into our test account. Dominic CX test account. And what we will be doing is we will be going to the email setup. So we are an administrator, admin, and then we go to channels and we go to the bad boy email. All right, so we have 3 brands. We have this brand, Dominic's brand, we have Dominic CX, and then we have Paul's brand. He's also running some tests. So we're going to add a new address for Dominic CX. So notice that what I mentioned previously, whenever you create a new brand or you create your Zendesk account, you have to put in your domain name, which in this case, it's Dominic CX, right? So this is what I put. As Zendesk asked me, like, what do you want to call your domain name? And I put Dominic CX, right? So by default, I've been created an email address, which is support at the domain name or the company name that I put in, and then at .zendesk.com, right? So Zendesk always appears in here if I don't, whenever I create an email address inside my Zendesk. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and create an email address. So I am here, this is my brand, and I have here at the right a call to action, which indicates adding an address. So do I want to connect an external address? Do I want to create a new email address or connect other? So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to create a new Zendesk address. Okay, so it asks me like, okay, what other support address do you want to create? So the first was support at dominiccx.zendesk.com. So I'm going to create one which is order at dominiccx.zendesk.com. So create now. That's it. It's as easy as that. And here it is. So order. Okay, cool. So I have created this new email address, and by default, it gave it the name support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this customer support. So I'm going to go to edit, and very important, I have to be mindful of the name that I give it. So customer experience is greatly influenced by this. So I have support, but I want to call it customer support. Okay, so now by default, so you see what customer will see in their inbox. Okay, so from customer support, and then it's going to be order at dominiccx.zendesk.com, or reply to, it's going to be customer support, order plus the ticket ID that I am currently having in order to, Zendesk pick up and see and update the right ticket with the message that is coming back from the customer. All right, so I'm going to save this. All right, so the name has changed to customer support, which is awesome. Okay, so what I wanted to do now is I wanted to show you what make default. So I can make the email default, which means that by default, whenever I use this, okay, so now it is the default. No, are you doing it? Yes, okay. So by default means that this email address is now going to be used as the default means of communication via the email channel. So even though I have 2 email addresses, this one is now my default one. So meaning if I don't have, if I don't select any email address, like in which I want to reply with, this is going to be by default selected, right? So whenever somebody reaches out and if they don't specify, for example, which email address they want to use, then this bad boy is going to be come to the rescue, and it's going to be the upfront, and it's going to be the one which is going to be used. So it's going to be used as a sending address for tickets that are not created via email, right? So Zendesk support also uses this address as the sending address for emails received at this address. Okay, so if, for example, somebody reaches out to you via via chat or via social messaging or via talk, right? So voice, and you want to follow up with them, then if you want to follow up, then the default email address is going to be the one which is going to be forwarded to, that is going to be used in this back and forth communication that you're going to use, right? So you're going to reach out to your customer and say, hey, I'm following up with something which is related to our discussion, which happened in whatever channel. And yeah, the default is going to be used. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to add an external email address. So adding an internal email address is pretty straightforward, and it's not necessarily all that difficult. But now adding the external email address is another thing, which it's, again, depending on your email server, is going to be a little bit more complicated or not. But in essence, it's the same thing. You have to allow the SPF, the DKIM, and the DMARC. You have to add these exceptions in the DNS settings, so domain name server. You have to add those for the different email addresses. It's, yeah, I've done it many times. It's not necessarily all that difficult. I'm not even a developer. I'm not good with programming, but I was still able to do that. So connect external email addresses. So let's do add a email address, which is Dominic the CX guy at gmail.com. This is where I have my YouTube account linked to, and I'm going to now use this as external email address, and I'm going to use it at Zendesk as a means of communication with my Dominic CX brand. So let's go. Okay, so now very useful. Zendesk is very nice about that, and it's giving me a helping hand, right? So it says, right, so sign into your Gmail account and go to settings, forwarding, and pop EMAP, and then enter support at Dominic CX as the forwarding address. All right, so let's do that. Let's go into our Gmail. Let's see. Let's go to Dominic the CX guy. Close this other one. All right, so it said I'm in the Dominic the CX guy. Go into settings, see all settings. And here we go, forwarding and pop EMAP. All right, so let's go back and see what it says. Sign into your Gmail account, done. Go to settings, forwarding and pop, yes, done. Enter support at dominicx.com. It's zendesk.com as the forwarding address. All right, so copy this and forwarding, add forwarding address. All right, so let's paste what we copied. Next. All right, so forwarding email to yes, proceed, please. Okay, add a forwarding. A confirmation code has been sent to support at dominicx.zendesk.com to verify permission. All righty. Okay, now, so it asked me like, okay, enter your verification code. All right, so let's go back to our Zendesk and say, yeah, we've done this. We've done it. And here we go. Complete the setup, step 3 and 4. Enter the verification code. Yes, please. Okay, copy it. And under forwarding any map. All right, so let's go back and verify support at Dominic Let's paste it. Click verify. Oh, Here we go. And then we have disable forwarding or forward a copy of incoming to support@dominiccx.zendesk.com. Yes, thank you. In use, which is in use, okay. And keep a Gmail's copy in the inbox. Now, this is definitely something which is up to you. So do you want to keep a copy of it inside your inbox? Depends. Mark Gmail copy as read is another option. Archive or delete. Yeah, in order to not create confusion, I would potentially not keep a copy, but depends. Maybe you have, depends on how you have, yeah, how you have how you handle business in general. I am going to delete Gmail's copy in this case. Let's go back and see what happens here. Select option forward a copy of incoming email and click save settings. Wow, okay. Let's do it. So forward in use and delete Gmail's copy. Save. Okay, so you are forwarding email to support that to-do. This notice will end in 7 days. All right, cool. So I think we're done here, right? So yes, finished. Verify. And let's see what's going on. Takes a minute. Well, look at that. Email sent to Dominic the CX guy at Gmail automatically become tickets. You can edit or add other email addresses in admin channels email at any time. Nice. Finish. Here it is. Dominic the CX guy at Gmail. Alrighty, that's very nice. Okay, so let's add a different name here. Let's add something else. I don't like support. It's too unpersonal. Support Dominic CX. Let's do that. Support Dominic CX. Nice. Support the guy, man. Follow the YouTube channel. By the way, go ahead and follow this YouTube channel. It's going to help me, and I'd be very grateful. So thank you very much. All righty. So now let's give it go take it for a test, right? Take it for a spin. So let's open our email. I'll bring it up here. Alrighty, so let's see. So I'm logged in with this. So if you want to reach out to me, write to hi@dominiccx.com. Don't use Dominic the CX guy, or you can use Dominic CX guy, but I prefer this one. This is where I am most present. Dominic the CX guy at gmail.com. Okay. I want this email to end up in Zendesk and be part of the Dominic CX brand. Does this happen? All right, so now let's see how that works. Okay, so we forward the email, and now what do? We go to our views and we go to our awesome view setup that we talked about. And this would be a ticket, which would be unassigned, right? So this came in, so it should be in unassigned tickets. Oh, look at that. I want this email to end up in Zendesk, blah, blah, blah. So here it is. It's sent less than a minute ago. Let's look at this ticket. Let's click it. Oh, my mouse isn't working again. What a surprise. The offer still stands. If you can fix my mouse, I can fix your Zendesk. Still doesn't work. All right, so look at this guy. Look at this email. I have a brand new ticket created, which is awesome. I have a brand, which is Dominic CX. So it's part of the brand that I've added it to. So I've added it to the Dominic CX brand, and it's here, right? So see the other two, Dominic brand and Paul brand. Not part of those, part of this one, which is the correct one. Right, so it came in via email, and then let's see. So this is yeah, this is what it looks like. So let's look at the events and see what this looks like. Subject, requester, brand, status. Okay, so organization, Dominic CX, form that we added together, and then yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is This seems to be working well, right? So this is from Dominic the CX guy, or sorry, to Dominic the CX guy. And this is my requester, which, yeah, I'm very happy to see here. So what I want to do is I want to see the original email. So this is a trick which you can use always inside your Zendesk to see what the original email looks like, because this is always, you can always miss stuff in Zendesk, and this is an oversimplified version of what this looks like. So who is it from? Dominic CX, which is me. Hi at Dominic CX, the email client that I use. It's to the Dominic CX guy, and then subject, whatever. Okay, and then this is the HTML version. This is the text version, so the non-rich content, and the source, but I won't get into that. Okay, so yeah, in essence, this is it about the email channel. So it's, you decide which names, which functions you want to use the email for. Preferably use more than one email address to categorize your requests. Just have a routing rule in place, or a routing path in place from the very beginning when you start with setting up your channels. Then customize the email, customize it to match your company's branding, the email template, then digitally sign it to mark it as being safe so it doesn't end up in spam. And that's it. You're a champion. You're doing great already. So I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next lesson, and bye.